Hello again, everyone. Melf here, with more of a Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run and a new recording setup, which should cut down all the lag and stuttering that I had since patch 5 came out in the old setup. If you don't already know from reading the YouTube video description, the summary of this challenge is that I'll be doing no long rests, not using healing potions with my party, and trying to tackle every encounter with combat and do so with the hardest grouping of enemies that is possible for that fight. Watch out for spoilers throughout this series. I like this environment that we're in here after this Dwargar fight here. It looks like this decrepit shantytown, and it's just full of both junk and treasure on three different levels, which I think is a pretty interesting little place to explore. So let's work on that. We'll explain something that I just found out that has thrown a wrench into my plans. See, my plan was to next, go tell Sovereign Spot that we just successfully killed the Dwargar, and then get Bliss Spores and go on for the rest of the day. But I recently found out that there's one more forced rest in Act 1. One more situation where if I don't rest, something bad will happen, basically. Which is, if I save the tieflings from the goblins by wiping out the goblins, which I must do at some point, they'll want to have a party. If I don't rest and have the party, and go on toward the mountain pass, the party gets skipped. Now that wouldn't be a big problem, I would just do that. Except, for no good reason, that means Halsin won't ever be in your camp. And you can't get him as a character or do any of his questline stuff in Act 2, which is you miss out on one of the biggest quests in Act 2, and probably the hardest fight in Act 2. So, that's pretty terrible, and I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is basically change my plans, take care of the goblin stuff pretty fast here, do a rest, but make sure it restores nothing. If it gives me back any hit points, I will injure my own characters to stop that. If I get back any spell slots, I will waste spell slots so I get back to where I was. So, I'll make it only be bad for me, just have it wear off my elixirs and nothing good come of it. And then get on with the rest of the adventure. But for now, I'll just finish looting things over here. Now, you can have Glut reanimate someone here to be a follower. You might be tempted to have it be Gekpol, but zombies can't cast spells anymore, so he can't use his Great Animate Dead spell or his counterspell option anymore. There's also a bigger problem too, which can completely break your game sometimes, so I wouldn't recommend ever trying to reanimate Gekpol in case that happens. It once ruined a previous attempted honor mode run that I was doing. Basically, once I reanimated Gekpol, zombie Gekpol went into conversations as if he was alive.
Wish to live in more interesting times.
And then he did the conversation about, attacking me because I'm with Glut. Never mind that he gets zombified by... I cast the wrong person, whoops. Okay. I cast that in Anyway, never mind that he was just zombified by Glut, it's under Glut's control. So then combat began with, my three party members against red character, Dark Urge, and Glut, and the zombie that I had. So very weird stuff there, to have your main character be a red unit, for one thing. And then it got weirder too, because then when their turns came up, they switched from being red units to blue units. And I could control them, while the rest of the party went red. And so basically, no combat ever happened, but I was just stuck in combat mode endlessly, just forced to just stay in tournament mode again and again and again. And I tried to exit out, tried everything I could think of, nothing fixed the problem. So, don't even try reanimating Gekpol, it is not worth the risk.
Never mind.
There are a lot of logbooks around here for the gnomes that used to run this place. I don't think I ever found this ruby. Maybe I overlooked it in some kind of treasure heap around here. So if you know where it is, I'd be happy to hear about that. I guess we can talk to this dead guy here, although we won't learn too much that's new from him.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
He does give us this information about a little treasure stash nearby, which I think is cool that there's multiple ways to learn about it.
With rubble, yonder, across the...
I guess that must be the nearby Underdark lake that this boat dock is on. I actually went once on a tour of an underground lake, which was pretty interesting, just going out in a boat across the vast, dark waters of it.
Hunting, runaway slave. Hunter.
I think this is the first time we've learned in character that they're working for the Absolute. I think we already knew that, obviously, out of character. And he's wearing the necklace, of course, which makes it pretty obvious, but still.
Hurt myself.
The corpse does not stir.
The Americans must have got a lot of the Dwarg, because there are a lot of these shattered Dwargar corpses around here. Generally speaking, the game reason all these bodies exist here is so that Gekpol can reanimate them all with his huge mass reanimate spell, which doesn't really make things hard, because you can just, blow up one of these little ladders and you're good. No problem. Anyway, I can sell this thing, I can sell that thing. This is actually a pretty good spell. I might go ahead and use it. I was planning to have Carla cast it once you got higher level spell slots because it scales up really, really well. But with a scroll, it's always level 2 anyway, so I might as well just cast it as is and get those hit points now. The neat thing about it is that in this game it applies to all your party members, including your familiars and whatnot. So instead of 1 HP, you're going to have 6 HP. That's a massive increase. You can actually survive a hit with 6 HP. With 11 HP as a level 3 version of it, you can survive plenty of hits, basically.
Let's get going.
So it can really help a lot with keeping your familiars, which are useful party members, alive. Did I remember to actually loot the Pole? No, I didn't. Okay. Trill of Misty Step, always a useful spell to have on hand. The Empiric Touch is usually not that impressive, but here in this run where I can't heal myself with healing potions, that could be pretty useful, so I'll keep that. Maybe give it to Carla. She could use some hit points. And the Exterminator's Axe is pretty bad, because great axes are pretty bad, but maybe I'll keep it and use it against the goblins somehow. That feels appropriate. That antidote is nothing special, because we already have regular antidotes to fix the gnome with, so here.
Moving in.
Lots of journals from these gnomes around here. Sleep is a useful spell to have on hand from a scroll, at least. Sometimes you fight very low HP enemies that use it on. Lots of these gnome letters and whatnot. Did I already loot Lurgan? I think I did, but let me just double check. Okay. Over here should be the gnome stash in this satchel. Good amount of treasure. This is a rare and useful kind of arrow. Now, it's not quite as good as you might think, because the silence only lasts for 1 turn, meaning it's over at the start of their turn, so they can cast spells freely. But it stops them from doing shield to block your attacks, or doing counterspell and things like that. So it has its uses. Constructs are pretty rare, but you know they exist, so it also has its uses.
Always room for more.
If I go up here, there's a few more treasure to find before leaving the area. I do just appreciate the treasure hunt through this dilapidated shanty town. Here we get a bit of lore about Wolbrin and Barkus. So here he wonders about ever seeing his friend Barkus again, but when we meet him, he no longer cares about Barkus. Their time together clearly made a bigger difference to Barkus than it did to him, but this book suggests that he was in the past a little bit softer than he is now. Fell in kind of with bad company and became hard-hearted and obsessed with vengeance, seemingly. You know, while I'm up here, I might as well go over here and go into one of these carrion crawler holes for an item. So let me spell my disguise there. You need to be small to go into one of them, so I will do that. Carrion crawlers are these aberration tentacle monster things in underground areas that have paralyzing venom. You need to make a saving throw against fear, I think, to reach in there. So, just give yourself resistance.
Could have.
The wall is riddled with holes. A suffocating stench of long rotten meat wafts out.
I have to be short to do this.
The passage.
Very rare that you get the dialogue option about that. This is the only case I can think of.
Shoulder deep when your fingers brush against a fleshy tentacle. Horrified, you withdraw your hand.
Failed it even despite
instinctively.
resistance. Okay, well that's over. You can switch up your spells now. I don't need Featherfall right now. Do use Disguise. Turn yourself into... Sure, no. And cast Resistance on yourself. And let's try that again. Show Ballista that he's just checking.
The wall is riddled with holes. The path you...
No, didn't mean to skip over that last bit of dialogue. So, basically the tentacle thing is dead inside. We can just get the topaz that we're told. Okay, let's get rid of these silly disguises and look like non-gnomes.
Alright, what now?
Okay, then over here, there is a treasure over there on that little raised area. So let me have perhaps Boing Zell jump over to it.
An efficient path. Something over there.
Then we'll loot the rest of this beach.
What to do?
It's very atmospheric area. I definitely was tense flying through it for the first time, expecting ambushes and things like that. And besides the Dwarf, there really aren't any, but still.
Something over there.
It's a well-done area. I always just kind of been partial to underground lakes, I think. I just like caves in the real world in general, and I like water, and water in caves is even better, so... I suppose I just have that reason to like it by default.
Maybe I need more pockets.
Okay, so... I think the last big treasure to get around here is the Crooked Wand of Fireballs, which should be up hereabouts. So I'll walk up in that direction once it will let me. Some atmospheric storytelling about... and environmental storytelling, I meant to say, about the Wand of Fireballs before we find it. Which is not that common in this game, really. Compared to things like, Bioshock or Dark Souls. Dark Souls, that's all there is, but... we don't get that much environmental storytelling in general in Baldur's Gate compared to just good regular storytelling, I would say. So, scorch marks, cinders all over the ground, a dead deep gnome. Probably was being forced to work over here, I'd guess. And then this unique Wand of Fireball, once per short rest. Now, actually, as I recall, it might destroy itself after one use. I'm not sure about that. Fireball is a really good spell. It's nerfed a lot in this game, which it desperately needed because it was stupidly overpowered in 5e. The designers said on record that they made it overpowered on purpose, which is terrible design. The Crooked Wand of it has a short range, so you can only use it blowing yourself up too, so only use it on someone like Karlach who resists the damage, I would say. But for those people, it's useful. Once in a while. An early Fireball is nothing to sneeze at. There are times where you will want that. Okay, let's get back up to Myconid Town and not report success, so we don't get Rapport, or rather don't get Bliss Spores, until we actually want it later on. We will just stroll over and now work on finding Dareth, Bonecloak's husband instead. And avoid the mushrooms. I often put myself too far away in Mushroom Town here and then blunder near one of the trap mushrooms to get myself in trouble. So, don't do that. Watch your step. Now, speaking of watching your step, over here as we get closer to this Susser tree, we'll also be getting into hook horror territory. One good design element, I think, is that nearby, you have a good chance of having met this Spore Servant version of a hook horror, so you can see what kind of stats they have and what their weaknesses and whatnot are. So, I mean, you can check that in combat anyway, but it gives you a warning about what could be ahead at least, so you can start thinking about that and maybe prepare spells before the fight breaks out. Decent design, I think. It also just makes sense that near this border where those things come from, they would have a zombified version of them. And also close clues you in, you can get one yourself with Glut, which is also a cool mechanic. You kind of work your way up the food chain, zombifying better and better things, in my experience, which is interesting. Controlling enemies is pretty always interesting in RPGs, and I just kind of enjoy the improvement, step by step, of getting better and better critters that often happens.
Treasure. Deep and fresh.
I didn't know the underdog.
Someone's marking there.
Now this is a tree we want to complete the Masterwork Dagger quest, but I don't want to do it right now because that would probably involve aggroing all of the hook horrors and things like that, and I want to try to save all those until I'm truly doing no more long rests after that forced rest is taken care of.
At least things.
So I thought maybe just the one that's over here and no others right now. In fact, maybe I'll sneak by even that one.
What's the story?
Another bit of good game design here is that these clusters of Bibberbang here, right before it becomes really important, so you have a chance to be introduced to it even if you hadn't seen them before. So you can learn that spray out poisonous spores, and that the spores are explosive and fiery, but the mushrooms themselves are for some reason not. Only after they're in spore form can you ignite them like so. The one thing that's not really a perfect tutorial about this is that it won't blow up the items nearby, whereas that is going to be an important detail over there, is that if you blow up those Bibberbang, it does blow up important items. So,
Still alive.
good, could have been perfect,
So
but
that's
still very
progress.
good, introduce that mechanic.
Have to keep going.
Will I fight this hook horror over here? I think I will. I'll fight just this one. Okay, let's go into stealth mode. And go to turn-based mode. When it comes closer and stops it, then deal with it.
Close. Should have worn better boots.
Maybe I'll have
Waste of
you...
step.
Oh! It's moving. There.
These flowers.
The flowers shut off your spellcasting, so don't be too close to them. Don't think I want to push that one. I'll probably just leave him where he is.
Check.
He's at the bottom of the cliff already. That's a good spell.
My head down.
Hopefully I'm lit enough here that he'll be able to see me. And therefore that I will get a surprise round. Nope, no surprise round. Okay, so we just cheated to heal that up the way they do sometimes. Whatever.
Just out of view.
Can we get a fight now? I don't want to be abusing stealth. I just want to start a fight. Just start a fight! Oh, you know what? I'm just exiting stealth mode. We're gonna do it like this. No, that went back into stealth. I'm exiting stealth mode. I just want to fight you. Okay. That was very silly. It's a pretty easy fight anyway. No big deal.
Halfling essence.
What are you doing over there, Astarion? You get in here.
Silent as the grave.
Who else is into the fight?
Still in shadow.
You're not in it. You get over there and get in. And you're not in it, so you get in. Okay. That should be it. Now, these guys can't be blinded, so don't even try it. They can call for allies, so avoid having that happen to you.
Swift and lethal.
Let's throw a spear at him.
Taking position.
Some good damage there. Then if we drop another one, I think that a novice Garmor can use that. Probably even could use it with... I think he has Barbarian Reckless Attack. Or something like it. I think I didn't speed him up, but I don't think I'll need that. Or did I? Yeah, I did. I did speed him up. Okay, crap, what I did before. Okay, you know what? Let's have Lady Boing's Zealous already near it. Move that javelin over. Great, you can use it, hopefully. Or not. Okay, fine. Less sensitive. Can I negate that with Reckless Attack somewhere? Okay. No, it didn't actually activate. Can I use it for throws or not? You can see I don't play Barbarians very often. Okay, whatever. I'll just throw it and get this over with. It's taking too long in this trivial fight. This counts as sunlight, apparently, which certain Dwargo characters have sensitivity to. Drow likewise, sometimes. Not when they're playable characters, only when they're like enemies and things like that, because we wouldn't want the player characters to have any kind of downside from their race whatsoever.
I am fury. I am death.
Can I get over here and get close enough that way to give no disadvantage? Guess not. Okay, that should be fine. This should still be high ground, and I'll just snipe attack from up here. I will turn on Sharpshooter, I think. Pretty good odds to hit. I think I actually don't want to kill now. I want to set up Ballista for kill, because then he can charge up his temporary points that are currently low.
Well, so much for peace.
Why would you walk over there to shoot this? With a normal person. There we go. Well, let's get everyone out of here before we possibly aggro another hook order. There is one of. Run on up there.
I've seen everything.
Then I'll group just Ballista back down below it. Oh, everyone else didn't go. Get out.
Step at a time.
Still breathing, despite everything.
I'm going to loot its flaw, which is useful for making a very good elixir.
Don't move.
And then I want to have Glut reanimate, which will drop Garmor, but this will be kind of an upgrade. As I said, moving up the food chain. Meanwhile, we avoid being aggroed by the one that's over there.
Can't give up now.
I just take that. Don't plan to get into any more fights, so I won't bother long striding it, things like that. And I think I'll bring just Ballista for the next section too, because it's better to have fewer people involved here, I would say. Avoid clutter, avoid getting tripped up by that. So we're looking for Dareth's supposedly useless husband, who's just kind of has his brain addled by fungi, either from drug use basically with his alchemy, or just working around too many poisonous fungi. So he's stuck in this group of these Bibberbang spores we just learned are dangerous.
Bibberbang!
You recognize the name. Bibberbang.
That's a decent little idea for kind of a trap-based
yours.
Fine device, I suppose.
Highly flammable.
The solutions to it are often a little bit boring and silly, like just going to tournament mode and walking through them because then they don't activate, but if you treat it more seriously than that, it can be interesting.
I know that. Scroll. Escape. My bag, please.
There are many good solutions here too, which I also appreciate. Give him a Misty Step scroll from any possible means, that works. If you get him his bag, that works too. Several other ways you can get him out of there too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, the easy way to do it is just that the Mushroom Kings don't activate them. That is, don't activate the other mushrooms. So, I'll just walk through with Glut and just grab the bag there. I can get a small profit actually if I go through his bag myself, so I'll probably do that. Watch out for that torch, by the way. It'll ignite all of the spores around here and make them all explode rather than just being poisonous. Even just the poison would kill Balin, who's already severely injured. A mage hand's another good solution for this. Mage hands also don't trigger these things.
Let's move.
Let's split that up. Probably there's two in case you screw up with one of them or something like that. You can keep your lunch, Balin. We'll take the other one in case we need to get through here, basically. Which we won't need it in character, but it's useful. Over to him. Then let's get it closer so it doesn't need to walk closer to the danger mushrooms. Okay.
Ah! Oh, I'm all right.
And here's the mushroom they were after, which is super rare. And will be destroyed if you cause any damage to these mushrooms.
Finally breathe.
Oh, okay, doing conversation. Sometimes he delays us a lot.
No one stopped me yet.
Let's carefully talk to him without stepping near any mushrooms.
Ah, right. What were you saying? Damn it! I must need to go. For you. Your trouble. Ta.
What a swell guy. Glad we rescued him. Nothing bad could happen as a result of this. Okay, let's get back in there and let's grab that Noblestalk the rest of the way up. Now, the Noblestalk is a very interesting item. It has healing properties, to say, and that really undersells it. It heals everything. Full HP, and also fixes a lot of status. Are you causing that much trouble for me, Glut? Just grab the mushroom. It also can fix memory issues. I don't know if they say that anywhere, but it can. It can fix the Dark Urge's memory issues, but not really. It just gives you a totally pointless, unnecessary scene with you relaxing home with your butler, which doesn't really tell you anything. Or Shadowheart, a little bit, we'll just learn that she had a friend back when she was in the Shard Temple, which doesn't really mean that much, because you'll beat the friend even without doing that.
Have a lot on my mind.
It's a bit of a switch, I guess, in that the friend is introduced by one name, but then you actually find out the friend is trans and has changed to a different name in the meantime. But doesn't really matter much. Or you can give it to Balin and advance their little quest line. That's probably more important. I could loot these mushrooms over here, but that's actually not important because for some reason those mushrooms back there are not hurt by the explosions, unlike the Noblestalk. So I can get people out of here, then blow this stuff up, and then loot the mushrooms more conveniently.
No time to rest.
Let's go into
Swift as my
Grouped
feet
up.
can carry me.
get you grouped up.
More for me.
Grab that. And then let's have Karlach firebolt and blow the whole thing up.
La la la.
Kind of a slow, illogical chain reaction how these things will blow up, I will point out. Like, a cloud of this stuff should really go up in flames fast with all the oxygen. Didn't actually ignite the others. Okay. Well, if I blow up one of these, they should all go up in flames. So, once I... that, yeah, there we go. They chain reaction to each other and then they blow up. But they blow up slowly is what I'm saying. Whereas, for example, in comparison, if you have something like just a plant growth in the ground, there's a candle flame near it, instantly, all those green, lush, water-filled plants will go up like they're made of gasoline. So, kind of odd that way, and makes entangle a plant growth a lot less good than they probably should, but oh well. One mushroom got away, huh? Let's ungroup, so there's no risk of dragging the bird through this. Just jump in case of bad pathing. I don't know if that little spot there is walkable. Don't risk it. Then we can just grab all these alchemy ingredients. They're nothing too special, as I recollect.
Nice.
Looking ahead.
Well, the important thing is that we have rescued Balin. So let us get back to Mushroom Town again. And go talk to his wife. It said she'd give us no reward, but will actually give us a reward anyway. So that's nice of her. In fact, gives us a unique magic item rather than giving us mere money.
Noblestalk? The mushroom?
I knew I was forgetting something.
What?
Sorry, love.
Absolutely worthless.
Alyssa's horrified by how they treat each other.
Think, Balin, think.
Seems like a good moment.
Or rather, how she treats just him right now.
Got my useless old...
He'll find out the truth about how Balin used to be abusive too later on, but now he doesn't know that.
His hands are empty as a whole. We'll have to send him back out soon enough.
They just rescued him, you're gonna send out another suicide mission, it seems. I don't like that at all.
Balin's got a job to do. We can leave when he's done it.
I don't think I really want to buy things from her until I level up to level 5 and get better prices shortly, so... We do get this unique item. I think it's a little bit overrated. It's only good if you exploit some bugs, basically. Where it used to be, especially outside of Honor mode, where they now have fixed most of this bug. You could stack up a whole bunch of things that should not stack on your damage and just get multiple copies of different things like Kushigo's Might applying on many different instances. Which could break the damage in absurd ways to do like 1,000 damage per throw or whatever, but that was clearly a bug and an exploit, and it's gone now in Honor mode. So, I'm not sure it's necessarily better than deflecting missiles for Karlach, but situation that could be at least better, so I'll probably put it on Karlach for now. I think the Sparkle Hounds are probably better on Leiboing Zell than Kushigo's Might would be, so I will keep that way. She could use the accuracy boost more than Karlach could. I'll just keep hold of these for when I need them, which will be some of the time, when projections are coming at me.
Let's get going.
Now, we could just eat the Noblestalk, but let's not do so.
Back. Good. Missed him.
Well, that's nice.
My friend. Bibberbang. Curious. Beautiful. But dangerous. Next time. More careful next time. For certain. Thank you.
Let's make sure there isn't a next time. This guy seems too nice, so we better help him. Where's the option to give him the...
Anyway, what were you saying?
I think it's probably buried in this dialogue tree
Get
section.
away from me.
Per the various letters, I think it's said that his brain was addled by either use of alchemical drugs or just working with too many dangerous reagents. Something like that.
The shop! The shop needs all we find.
Noblestalk is apparently one of their main draws there. I don't know how they got it before coming down here.
Anything sourced here. Very high rate of profit.
Not for us. Okay, maybe if I re-talk to him, then it'll let me give
Don't be
Noblestalk.
too careful in these parts.
I know there's an option here somewhere. There we go. Don't know why it wasn't there before.
Yes. My mind isn't what it used to be.
I guess since they don't have an eating animation, they have him eat off screen.
That is, help Dereth. I don't...
They come over here for their conversation.
How could you just eat the Noblestalk?
Don't know, just ate it.
Still a little confused here, I guess. Long, awkward silence, probably not intended.
You bloody fool! After all...
So Melissa's disgusted with her so far. And he has a totally valid point that she sent him off on a dangerous mission, he went through bad stuff, she just sat here and complained.
You'd better...
God!
But he'll now see another side of the story.
Look at Dereth.
What have you done?
What's the matter, woman? I got my brain back. Smile.
It's just...
It's just she's lost herself a pack mule and a truffle pig.
He was basically using him that way.
I'll be her daughter and old servant till my dying.
But yeah, as we find out, he used to be abusive to her.
She'll learn her place
Then when he
again.
became helpless and a different person, she was abusive to him in turn, and they're just...
Come on.
This is the best thing for them. They can go their own separate ways at this point. And as far as Ballistic is concerned, at least fix the supernatural problem. They can fix their relationship drama by just doing things the way normal people do. And splitting up.
Like old self. Angry self. Don't like.
Shame about the deep wrath, though. Well, we might have caused problems here, but we had no way to know that in advance, really. We already spot that. That's just the treasure hoarder star, and we're going to get in there as soon as we report success on this mission. Okay, well, back up to the surface to then work on the goblin quest line so I can then work on the tiefling party. But I did realize I forgot to loot one thing. Someone pointed this out in the comments. Oh, right, dismiss him. That's fine, he'll dismiss himself.
I feel the fair's rest.
The Fazres is this magical field in the Underdark that
Not leave.
doesn't really matter except for this particular plot reason, so he can't come with you.
Pull the Fazres, the energy of the Underdark. The Myconid might die if isolated from it.
Don't think there's any way to use that, it just means that he can't come with us.
I will refresh myself.
Oh wait, I forgot to talk with him and do his little questline thing. Let me dismiss my disguise and then talk. Get back here.
The tumor is.
It does seem a little odd for mushrooms to talk about tumors. I don't know if they'd have that same relationship with tumors and cancer that mammals and whatnot do. Maybe they do. Maybe it's a mushroom idiom that gets translated into tumor and they speak telepathically to us.
Will a mighty circle rise? My song will fill the grotto.
So he immediately turns against Spa, who sheltered and protected him.
The grotto may
For no good reason either. Like, there's clearly plenty of room here. The Hobgoblin here will make the point that everyone could survive and coexist peacefully if they weren't just jerks.
There may be no.
He'll act as though it's all Spa's fault somehow for not protecting him back when he was fighting a war against the Dwargar, but like, when you read the Dwargar journals, it becomes very clear that Glut was just a coward and just ran away and abandoned his people to die.
Fate is.
At worst, you can say that Spa was short-sighted to not realize that the Dwargar would come closer eventually if he didn't stand to fight with Glut at the beginning. But given how awful Glut is, like, who would want him as an ally anyway? I don't know.
Flourished. I sang to Spore for help. Yet it cowered in the grotto and left
Whereas he ran over to this grotto to cower and let his own people be slaughtered. Much better.
smooth mind.
Is that like calling me a smooth brain, or is that more of a mushroom idiom that makes sense as some kind of non-insult?
The reward, or protect the precious poltroon as it waits for the circle.
Oh, the circle of Glut that won't exist unless we help you defeat Spa?
Devour it whole.
If you're so great, you can take him out yourself, clearly. Ballista, again, doesn't always say what he actually means. He does not actually intend to side with this guy. Astarion wants us to for no particular reason, because Astarion just likes chaos, bloodshed, and pointless evil.
Will sing its doom. The age of Glut begins.
You know, maybe we should just leave you here to discuss that with these people. Nothing will happen, but we're going to just dismiss him and have him sit here thinking about what he just said in front of all these witnesses.
Circle must come to the circle.
Still wants to just hang out here. Abuse Spa's hospitality. Maybe Spa is not so bright. Okay. So, now up to the Whispering Depths to loot the Spider Matriarch corpse that I forgot to loot before. It has a not very useful magic item on it, but magic item's the magic item, I might as well grab it. I was in such a hurry last time to get to the gem and use the book before my bless wore off that I didn't at the time. Poisoner's Robe. Clothing items that do anything good in the early game are quite rare unless you kill Karlach for the Infernal Robe, which is decent. Casting spells that deal poison damage is very rare. There are not many good poison spells, so I'll take it, but I probably won't ever use it. Yeah, that's not acid damage, that's poison damage. It is much, much rarer. Okay, well now let's get back up to the surface. I think the Blighted Village is probably close to it. It's time to take down the goblins. We'll just start marching pretty much right there. I think there's one little squad to take out on the way that are just, you know, they were the reinforcements that we skipped before. When just trying to get through things before what I thought would be the last forced rest of the game. No big deal, though. And then we'll go over to the Goblin Party, which is still ongoing. I guess I'll probably loot that treasure over there, and then the biggest challenge will be getting all the goblins to fight me at once. It's very common for some reason only a small squad of them to aggro. There's just like watch and buggily walk back and forth as you kill their friends right in front of them, which makes the fight way too easy. I don't want that. I want them all to fight me so I can have the hardest possible challenge. So I might actually back up my save before initiating the combat with them to make sure that it actually works and they all do fight, rather than having it be the easy way. Speaking of the easy way, I could just blow these guys up here, but I think I'll avoid that and just shoot them fair and square so I can get all the XP. If they die to fire one, I don't think you get all the experience from them all the time. You have Sharpshooter on, right? No, you don't. Oh. They're just goblins. They will not be a hard fight.
This feels good. Be quick.
Yeah, that would kind of be overkill, but I'll do it. No. I think I want to soften this one up rather than instant kill it, so that then I can give the kill to Ballista, who could use the chance to... Actually, no, I already recharged his hit point. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter.
Survival is all that matters.
Let's get back into disguise. Maybe so I won't be a drow that they'll suck up to. Maybe I'll be like an elf or something. I don't like elves particularly. Where's the strong elf? I feel like that one looks better. There we go. Down that way, they're basically just landmines and booby traps. It's not really worth it. It's supposedly a shortcut to avoid this little goblin fight, but that goblin fight is easy, whereas the landmines are just tedious, so I always do it this way instead.
Interesting.
Sell that stuff at least.
What's inside? Wonder if the gods are watching me.
I always appreciate finding magic arrows. Throwable ammunition is sometimes good. I think I've got enough of it probably at this point. Up this path there's a hidden chest, but I think there's usually just junk in it. Might as well check it while I'm here, I guess. And through there, that's the next zone. If I go through there, instantly the goblins will overrun the Druid Grove or whatever, and also Joaquin's Rest will finally burn down after weeks of being on fire, so I better not do that. Not until I've cleared off Joaquin's Rest and also the goblins. I think that's all that gets forcibly advanced if you go there early. Oh, that's actually a good item. Nice. 2 junk items, but then the rest is actually good. Anyway. I think nothing else happens but Joaquin's Rest burning down and the Goblin Druid conflict being resolved, so if I just take care of that stuff first, I should then be good to the Mountain Pass whenever I want. Is my understanding. Might swing by Grath the Trader and check he has nothing new that I want. I don't think he will. I don't think it's really worth buying friendship with unless you're going to side with the goblins, because he'll only be here in this one act, and we'll kill him right now, pretty much.
You look like you got something jingling in your pocket. Looking to spend...
None of them really mind a bunch of hostile, races walking into their party for whatever reason. This is a really good armor set, but once I hit level 5, it'll become generic merchant inventory stuff that everyone will have at every blacksmith, so I'll probably just buy it from someone who already likes me, and thereby save some money. I'm almost at level 5 anyway. I'll probably hit it after like this big fight, or maybe the next one. The returning pike is useful and unique. Normally a pike can't be a thrown weapon, but the returning pike is, and does more damage than most thrown weapons, and it's really heavy, so it'll trigger its fall damage really early, so that's all nice. It does have downsides, because when it returns to you, it doesn't return to your inventory. It gets forcibly re-equipped to you, even if it wasn't what was equipped to begin with. So that's not always good for you. So there are times to use it, but there are times to be careful about it. I will hold on to it when I get it, which I think he'll drop it on death, but I will not always use it. This is a pretty good item because it's just so cheap, and I could definitely use the acrobatics and jump boost once in a while. So I'll take that. Not really worth buying friendship, just reduce the cost of this very minor item.
Get moving. I've got other customers.
Do you? I don't think so. You mostly complain about people just stealing your stuff around here. Well, no longer singing, of course.
I should speak up.
You can poison their beer here,
Spit.
which is interesting. And there are some clues pointing out that there is a barrier you can access, which is pretty great. Lots of ways to handle conflicts in this game, which I appreciate, but I want to do things the hard way, so none of that.
Well, now, you look like a tough un, but have you got smarts, skills, guts? And you're gonna need it, mate. This ain't your standard dungeon dive, right? This is chicken chasing.
It is just as trivial and silly as it sounds.
Only the greatest
Now,
game since eggs sprouted.
The interesting thing is, you've already done the owlbear little mini-quest dungeon thing, then the owlbear couple will be here instead of the chicken. And you need to rescue it from here. But I haven't done the owlbears yet, so that's not the case, so I can deal with the owlbears on my
do
own
it quick
time.
and alone. Any of your mates step in, you
Which is probably going to be at level 5 after you've got some other bonuses accrued.
Sound easy? It ain't. Better contenders than you have been bested by the bird. Fun? Show a bit of respect, mate. This is serious business. Besides, we got to agree stakes before we begin, don't we? Cocky, eh? Maybe you've got the skill to...
I think she just drops the money anyways, it should
Maybe
not really matter.
I'm about to
But
make a heap of coin. Let's get a crowd going. Starting a new game! Move your eyes!
Burn yourself. Honk honk.
No one stopped me yet.
So you can do this legitimately, or you can just do things the smart way and just talk to the chicken, which again is good design. There's many ways to just tackle things.
That's what the fire's for, isn't it?
What are you waiting for? Shimmy on us! Chase! That! Shake
Feathers burning! You!
No one seems to find it suspicious they're not talking about competition in the middle of this contest.
Free? Free!
Karlach wants to just see this poor chicken suffer, I guess. And Lae'zel just hates fun. I'll pretend that I'm chasing it.
That's the game done. Come here.
Empty again? These mugs got holes in them or
That's the
something.
game done.
Starving.
I'm going to group the rest of them up so I can use guidance in conversations if I need to.
Well, looky here. Seems like you know your way around the course. Pardon? You're what? Think you misunderstood, mate. Ain't no
Goblins are
winnings,
filthy.
'cause
Just look at how
only
much
a
dirt is
goblin
smeared
can
all over
win
her
chicken
face.
chase. Says so in the rules.
As the symbol glows, power.
I could use my illithid power on
through.
this. That'd be a silly waste. I could use friends here, but I probably will eschew that because I don't know if she'll then call the guards and it wears off. I don't want that to happen until I'm ready to aggro them all at once. It's not a hard check for someone who's plus 2d4 and everything all the time.
All right. No need to get weepy over it, like. Here.
Claga here gives us some clues about the roasted dwarf over there who was from Eridan's party. I'm sure that smells good to the Dark Road. You talked about how good roasted dwarf tastes, which is strange because it's probably very tough. But anyway, another clue about the dwarf and the night song, which we know is not actually found here anymore.
Are you kidding? I look fantastic.
This shouldn't even remotely fit. Dwarves are medium-sized creatures with like super wide bodies and hips and whatnot, whereas goblins are small size. And this game is smaller than small size because it can fit through tiny holes somehow or other. But whatever.
Come off. Dunno. Was already stripped down to his breeches when I got my hands on him.
Had a couple of coins in the pockets.
Yeah, it doesn't look like breeches, they look like trousers, don't they?
But that's all.
I guess didn't look closely, but...
Sure you can. But a look's all you get.
That really should be enough to get the clue we need out of it, but whatever.
This little roaster was some famous bard. And you'll be sending his last words for a pretty penny.
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
Good thing you won't notice the contradiction of me saying that I want to see this poem and then saying that dwarf poetry is worthless. Thought that could raise some questions at least.
Right. You might as well use it as bog roll then. I'll get back to tending the meat.
So it's our main clue about how to open up the gate to the saloon outpost where we've already been from this side. I like that that is not necessary. There's many pathways through this game. But we already know the night song is not actually to be found there.
Absolute worm like you.
Now if we go over here, the goblin kids I think will run away, whereas I could possibly fight and kill them otherwise. So maybe I should circumvent that by having someone... You know what I'll do? I'll make sure I've got this waypoint over here. I think I've got it. I'll avoid going near Crusher, who will be one of my main people I need to aggro to get the fight in the toughest possible way. Weird random entangling twisting vines there. I don't know if there's a story to explain that. And then maybe if all the, your friends are jumping off a bridge, I'll do it too. Jump off down there with Featherfall and then waypoint back up. And thereby skip past the goblin kids so I can kill them later. As part of the big fight. Maybe. I guess for that to work, you probably better switch back to having Featherfall. I had Garlac.
Can't give up now. What to do?
And then we'll grab that secret treasure trove over there. Now there's a trap up above, so I want only people who can actually spot things well to go up there. So let's give you guidance. And have just you go up alone. And try to spot... not looking ahead. Just you go up alone and try to spot and deal with the crap. We have spotted it. Let's try to disarm. And then I think one of the goblins here is writing love letters and things like that. Think about how to woo Minthara, which is moderately funny. The goblins have a lot of silly humor, which isn't always to my taste, but sometimes it is. Humor is very subjective and random and find funny, I suppose. Small chance to fit a great accent, though. Oh, was I mixing up who wrote these? I thought it was one of the lady goblins, but I don't remember. All the goblin names sound very similar to me, to be honest. I guess this is the goblin bathing spot, which I'm surprised the goblins take baths, but I guess some of them do at least. Maybe just this one writing love letters does. Trying to look best for Minthara.
What's that?
We'll loot this, and then I'll probably end it there. I think I said I want to back up my save so I can guarantee they actually fight me, instead of only some of them getting aggroed at once, which makes things way too easy. pick things up with a big goblin fight next time. Thank you for watching, everyone. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Frank Maidens, Master Knight DH, Jackie, and Lino, George Grin, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mom, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Just Becca, Jack, Austin Livingston, Mashas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Latinx, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostia Nesterovich, Vol the Great, Luke Frederick Brune, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Marcin Bialek, Techno Waffle, Mavith, Nebular, I Loop, Michael Francis, Emperor Kong 420, and Robin Maki. Have a great day, everyone.